Adams, you say you were caught in a love triangle, and now the defendant doesn't believe he fathered your 13-month-old twins, Kamarian and Kamariana. You testify that you are 100% certain he is and plan to prove it today in court. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Spencer, you say the plaintiff needs to make up her mind about who her children's father is. You state that another man was claiming the babies were his. You say when the results reveal you are not the father, you plan to cut off all communication. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Adams, how did you get caught in a love triangle?
Well, to be honest with you, I got caught up in a love triangle because I was with the same man for 13 years. I had separated. When we separated, was kind of going through my vulnerable stage and things like that. I had went out actually one day, to the bar, and that's when I had met Markeith. And when I met Markeith, that's when we started, having dealings with each other and things like that.
All right, so you were in a long-standing relationship.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then you broke up.
Yes.
And during that time, you were intimate with Mr. Spencer.
Yes.
Did you use protection?
No.
All right, so were you and Mr. Spencer in a committed relationship?
No.
No. And so, Mr. Spencer, you agree with this testimony? You met Ms. Adams. You all started having a relationship. You didn't use protection.
Yes, sir.
But
yes,
you
Your
weren't in a committed relationship.
No, we were.
So, did you know whether or not at that time she was also intimate with anybody else?
No, I didn't.
Miss Adams, were you intimate with anybody else during that time?
No, I was not.
So how soon after you broke up with your ex did you meet Mr. Spencer?
I'll say like about 2.5 months later.
All right. So during this window of time you were intimate with Mr. Spencer, you were not dealing with your ex at all?
No, I was not.
Okay. So take me to the point where you find out you're pregnant.
Well, I had found out I was pregnant during the time that Markeith Spencer had went away. When Markeith went away, I had found out that same week that I was pregnant.
All right. The point you found out you were pregnant, who did you tell?
I told a family member of Markeith Spencer that I was currently pregnant and that I need to speak with him immediately.
So you told Mr. Spencer's family member?
Yes.
And you were confident at that time that Mr. Spencer was your child's biological father?
Yes.
And so, Mr. Spencer, your family member informed you that Ms. Adams was pregnant?
Yeah, she called me, and then she told me, that Miss Adams was pregnant or whatever. Then I called and checked with her, the confirmation to make sure, this was what I was hearing. Then, we just, we talked about, her pregnancy, how she got pregnant, how this was possible, how it happened.
And so did she ever tell you there was another possibility, that there was someone else who could be the biological father of the twins?
No, Your Honor, she never told me that.
So you're thinking to yourself, I'm about to be a dad?
Yes, Your Honor.
So how did it get to the point where this becomes a paternity issue? How do we get here?
But what happened, the way that my ex came into the picture is because once I had the babies, the pictures went out on the internet, and that's when my ex-mother called me and said that those are my grandbabies. They look just like my son.
Oh. And so once she said that, had you been thinking of that in the back of your mind all this time? Never.
Never. I was starting to hear it so much, and I was getting so many phone calls from, my ex side of the family and everything about the boy. Kamarian, they were saying he looked like my ex and everything. So it got to the point where I'm just like, whoa, I never thought that Markeith was not the father. But then, she was just telling me, oh, Christian, put 2 and 2 together. Just think about it. It don't make sense. You already had the babies early, so you could have been already pregnant when you was messing with Mr. Spencer. She was just, saying things like that and stuff. So then I started saying, well, you know what, you never know. And I was also just going off of emotion and knowing I was still in love with my ex and things like that. So I just wasn't really even looking at the whole situation. I just was like, whatever it was it took to get back with him, that's what it was. So I kind of just went with the story. I never say on my own mouth, okay, Mitchell is the child father. But I just was like, well, you never know.
All right. So you are being very honest in this moment. And you're saying, once your ex's mother called and said, I believe these children are my grandchildren.
Yes.
You were still in love with your ex.
Yes.
And so you did not diffuse that sentiment. You didn't say, no, there's no way. You just kind of left the door open because you wanted that door open.
Yes.
As an opportunity to get back together with your ex.
Yes.
Got it. Mr. Spencer, When did you get wind of the fact that these twins, the beautiful twins, may not be your biological children after you were told that they were?
It was like probably a couple months after I was away, I've been going, I talked to her, kept in contact with her the whole time, like her pregnancy or whatever, we talked, she was, writing me letters and stuff saying like how these was my kids, how she wanted me to come home, be a family with her, stuff like that, And then the communication was changing, like her attitude was changing, everything. So I kind of knew it was like, either you back messing with Mitchell or there's something going on because you having an attitude more, like you ain't really keeping me up to date with these kids, and like it was like...
So you noticed it?
Yeah, like I kind of noticed the change, so I kind of knew it was like somebody else in the picture, like it was then they told me like, well, we did a DNA test already, Mitchell the father. This is what they told me.
Really? Adams, where are you in the story? You're telling both men now at this point it's their twins?
After I had the babies, Marquis was around for the first month. Throughout that whole month, it was like so much drama with his ex, so much drama with him. It was like all over again. I was like, when I got the phone call from Mitchell,
yes,
because his mom called him, so he called me and was like, Christian, I'm hearing that it's a chance that those babies are mine. Is that true? I said that I knew that they was Marquis. I said, but to this point, you just never know. Just come back because I want you to come back regardless, and we could just start over. And once that happened, he said, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and come back. Once he came back, without a shadow of a doubt, I didn't even want to deal with Marquis at all.
All right, so once your ex came back, you were done with Mr. Spencer because
yes,
you really wanted to be with your ex.
Yes. Any way he was able to get in contact with me, I like changed everything, And when he did contact me or his ex contacted me, it was like, oh, we already did the DNA already. I don't have to worry no more. These is Mitchell
So
kids.
you did tell that story?
Yes, I did.
So you said it?
Yes,
and you
I
know
did.
It was a
yes,
lie when
I
you said it.
Yes.
But you were at a place where you decided you were going to erase Mr. Spencer out the picture.
Yes.
Because you didn't want the drama.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Spencer, when this was happening, did you realize she was just trying to cut you out, or did you feel like she had determined you weren't the child's biological father and so she was just moving on?
Well, when I was away, my ex sent me pictures of Christian Page, and I seen pictures of her tagging Mitchell mom as a grandkids. So I was like, and you telling me this whole time these was my kids.
And what did she say?
She was like, oh, I ain't tell them that. Mitchell just automatically assumed these was his kids. She told me that, like he automatically came back and was like, oh, them my kids, I'm gonna be taking care of them kids. So I kind of fell back, like, All
right, so we actually have the grandmother who's tagged in the pictures here in court, and I would like to hear from her. Jerome, will you please escort Ms. Jernigan into the courtroom? Thank you for joining us, Ms. Jernigan.
Thank you.
So just to be clear, you are the mother of Mitchell, which is Ms. Adams' ex-boyfriend.
Yes.
And I have to ask you, do you believe these are your son's biological children?
Yes, I do.
Please explain to the court.
The first week that they was born, Kristen's mom called me. So she said, by now, look, take a look at the babies. Look at these pictures. Something ain't right. So she sent me the pictures. So I'm like, oh, my God. So I went looking for some of Mitchell's baby pictures, and I started sending them through the family. And the family's like, oh, my God, these Mitchell's babies. So as I talked to Kristen, are you sure? We just left here at the end of December. You said you met Marquis in February. It's not adding up. So I'm calculating. I'm calling, and everybody calculating.
What does your son believe?
He believes that these are his kids.
He does?
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. When they was 2 weeks old, I went down there. Yes, he saw pictures of me on Facebook because I was the grandmother. So I would go every 2 weeks helping Kristen, being there. And when I went, Mitchell was on the passenger side. We talked all the way back to Minnesota saying, are you sure, Ma? I want this to work, Ma. I don't have 2 kids. I got 4 kids now. I think we could work it out. And the reason we started bagging back because all of a sudden I saw Marquis at one of Kristen's friend's house.
Yes.
He said, these are my babies. So he was trying to show me some pictures.
So wait, you saw Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
So that was the first time you had seen Mr. Spencer?
Yes, in person.
So Mr. Spencer, do you remember this encounter?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what did you say to Ms. Jernigan?
Well, originally I came over there and Mitchell was coming in the door. And he wanted to talk to me. So Christian, like, Mitchell want to talk to you. He was like, do you think these kids yours? I said, yeah. He said, I think Kamarion look like me. And that was our only conversation right there. He stopped. And that's when I seen his mom, and then she was, you know,
and I just want to say something about that situation.
Yeah.
Okay, we talking about 8 months later, because for a whole 7 months, Mitchell was the only one in the picture. Right. Marquis was trying to get in contact with me for about 7 months.
But you had blocked him out of your life.
I had blocked him out, yep. Actually, me and Mitchell wasn't even together. Mitchell had actually went back to Chicago. Me and him wasn't together at all. Mitchell decided, because I started back talking with Marquis and everything, let him come back to see the kids. Mitchell decided on his own to come back from Chicago, and Marquis popped up just to come see the kids. And that's when Mitchell was like, well, what he at? I need to see him now. You know, so it wasn't like I was being messy about it or anything.
Well, no, but what is clear, though, Ms. Adams, from your testimony is you have allowed at certain times both men to believe they are the twins' biological father. That's just the truth. This is a lot, you know, because everybody wants the twins to be theirs.
Yes.
And it seems like, Ms. Adams, you have allowed the story to unfold in a way that suits your possible opportunity to get back with your ex.
Yes.
But secretly knowing all the while that you really believe the children are Mr. Spencer's.
Yes.
But because you allowed that door to be open, the family has gotten attached to the children. I can see how emotional Miss Jernigan is right now. And you look at the babies, you love the babies.
I love them. There's nothing gonna change. Nothing. Those are my babies.
And look, Miss Adams, as wrong as it may have been, I respect your courage in the fact that in this moment you did. We see this all the time, children getting used as pawns. Children getting used as pawns. We're going to either get back with somebody or get back at somebody. You're admitting that you came in here today and you used your twins as a pawn.
Yes.
And you allowed them to believe there was a possibility, because that then allowed there to be a possibility that you get back with your ex.
Yes.
But you do get now that now your children have two different families completely attached to them.
Yes.
No, I got a connection with them. I mean, they know who I am. They come to me, stuff like that. But it's like, I don't feel like I built that connection like I wanted to.
I want to get the results for you. Jerome? The case of Adams versus Spencer, pertaining to whether Mr. Williams or Mr. Spencer is the father of 1-year-old Kamariana Adams Spencer. It has been determined by this court the biological father is Mr. Spencer. The next result is for Kamarion. In the case of Adams versus Spencer, pertaining to whether Mr. Williams or Mr. Spencer is the father of 1-year-old Kamarion Adams Spencer, it has been determined by this court the biological father is Mr. Spencer. Mr. Spencer, you are the biological father. What are you feeling in this moment?
Like, if she knew, like, them was my kids all this time, like, you should never not allow me to build that relationship with them.
I will say that we have to count our blessings, and the children are only 13 months. And you do have the time and the opportunity to establish a bond with them and to be there for them.
Can I say something to Marquis?
Yes.
I don't know you, but I really would like to get to know you, you know, and I would always respect you as they did. Love your babies, and I respect you, and thank you.
Let me tell you something, Miss Adams. We could be really hard on you, but I could tell how hard you probably have been on yourself. But I hope in this moment you understand you are one blessed and lucky young woman.
Amen.
Right? And what your children have gotten is people in their lives who love them unconditionally. All you have to do is step out of the wings of denial, lies, shame, and step center stage in your life as a mother and raise your children with their father and all of the other people in the family who've decided to be the cast of characters that raise and support these beautiful twins. All you have to do now is show up.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. We have counseling and resources for you all. I wish you all the very, very best of luck. Court is adjourned.